in at the new VS Code extension from Claude Code, which just came out a few hours ago. Like you can see, you can get it available inside Visual Studio Code, and we're going to test this out as an IDE. So you can basically install Visual Studio Code via the website, and then once you've done that, you would just click on Install over here, Trust Publisher and Install, and then we can get this party started, my friends. And then we'll test it out, see how it performs. Now, I would genuinely say that Claude Code is by far the best coder right now out there, and we're gonna test this out. So you can see here it's guiding you through how it works, etc. You can actually click this button in the top right to start using Claude Code, and this is an AI coding partner inside Visual Studio Code. You can also chat with it as well, and we just have to allow some permissions like this. There we go. And we can also see our previous history and conversations and that sort of thing. So to begin building with this, first thing that we're going to need to do is we are going to need to open up a new folder to get started with the IDE. So we're going to click on open folder, new folder, and we'll test this out. So I'm going to say, okay, AI profit boarding website. Let's go with that, hit open. And then we can open up Claude inside here, right? So it kind of feels like Claude on the desktop. And instead of using the build agent section over here, you're going to use Claude over here, right? To start editing inside your IDE. You can actually remove that bit if you want to. And then now you've got the Claude Code chat inside Visual Studio Code. So if you prefer like the design of Visual Studio Code, but you want to use Claude Code inside there directly with a nice UI, then this is an easy way to do it, as you can see. So from here, we'll say, okay, build out a website for the AI Profit Boardroom. Then I'm just going to grab some information about the actual community. There we go. We'll go back to Visual Studio Code here, plug this in. And then you've got this option at the bottom that's like, you can edit automatically, you can go to plan mode, you can ask before edits, etc. Right? So if we wanted to plan out the project first before we go ahead, which I would recommend, then we can go with this. And also what you could probably do here is you could install a bunch of Claude Code skills. So you could pull in the repositories of skills that other people have published on GitHub, for example, for Claude Code. And then you could probably call those inside the chat here as well, I think. Haven't tested that out. This is the first time I've tested Claude Code inside Visual Studio Code, but we'll see how it goes. And the cool thing about this is like it also understands your project, the current file you're working on, text selection, and will propose changes directly. And also it's got agentic features. So for example, sub agents, custom slash commands, and MCPs are supported, right? So you can work with them inside the VS Code extension, like you can see. By the way, if you've never used Visual Studio Code before, what you're going to see here is, it's like a classic IDE. So you've got the file explorer, you can search for stuff. You've got the repository if you want to publish to GitHub. You can debug over in this section. And then you also have a bunch of other extensions that you can install. So for example, you could use GitHub inside there, Copilot, right? You could use, for example, Client or Rucode. These are other good extensions for Visual Studio Code. But I think honestly, there's no need with the power of Claude Code directly inside here. Now, what we can also do is we can set up like, okay, what do we want for the CTA link? So we've got an external payment page, specific URL. So I'm going to go with a specific URL. Do you have testimonials and images? Yes, I do. Use existing assets. So for example, logos, etc. And then we'll go from there. By the way, if you want to get a full guide on exactly how to use this, we've got all the resources inside the AI Success Lab, like you can see. So if you go inside the AI Success Lab, link in the comments description, it's a community that connects you with 47,400 members, like you can see. If you go inside the classroom here, Then go to 21st of January 2026 onwards. You can grab the notes from today, like you can see. So, I mean, the old way was like you spend hours debugging typos and syntax errors. You switch between terminal editor and browser. You mess around with like Google Stack Overflow, you know, hiring developers, etc. Now, what you can do is you can just get Claude Code to fix bugs automatically. Everything happens in one window, aka Visual Studio Code. The AI can read error messages and fix them instantly. You can build professional tools you want in like under an hour, and it fixes stuff in real time, right? And you can start coding today, even if you've never coded before. So we're going to take this like so. Then we're going to grab some testimonials to plug into our project. And the URL to funnel traffic to. And you see I've added the testimonials in the chat now of the images. They should be able to use those testimonials to improve the page. It's also transcribed them into plain text there too, which is pretty cool. So it gets it instantly. And it's got the CTA link now as well. And then if we go back to our Explorer here, you can see we're good to go, right? So that was the planning stage, pretty easy and simple. Always good to do that before you just go off and start creating it. Now we can click on yes and auto accept, and we can start editing the project and creating the files automatically. So let's create the files on the left-hand side. We've got the HTML, the CSS, JS, etc. for the website. And by the way, whilst that's coding out, if you want to get a full 30-day plan on how to implement this, I've got it inside the video notes from today, link in the AI Success Lab. So for example, if you want to know how to install it, I've actually got a prompt that you can test for mastering this each day. So every day there's a new post and a new way, a new tool and a new project you can build, like you can see. And then also we have over 100 Claude code prompts you can use today to build whatever you want inside Visual Studio Code. So for example, if you want to learn how to build lead generation tools or content creation tools or client management tools, etc., whatever you want to build, we have a prompt for it inside the AI Success Lab. And this is beginning to tick off the to-dos inside the chat here. So you can see, for example, it's copied the template files, it's updated the index HTML, it's going to edit the style CSS now, and then it's going to test the website in a browser as well. Good thing about using Claude Code is it has a browser agent, so it can actually open up the page inside our browser and then test it out and see how it performs. You can also use this inside the terminal as well. So if you actually go to like new terminal here, and you prefer like the terminal feel of Claude, you can just type in Claude over here and now actually open up Claude inside the terminal. Honestly, I don't like that approach as much as the chat on the right hand side. I think it's a lot more user friendly, this section, but if you want to use the terminal, you can. You can also see that at the bottom, it will auto compact inside the chat. So one of the good things about Claude Code now is like previously it would have a low context window, which meant that it constantly ran out of tokens, right? So you could only talk so much inside the chat before it just shut down and wouldn't respond, right? Because you ran out of context window. Now it has this auto compact feature. And basically what that means is like, even if it hits the context window, even if you run out of tokens and you can't, you go over 200,000 tokens, which is the token limit for Claude, well, then it will auto compact inside the chat so you avoid that problem. And you can see now the page here is opened. So this is the website ready to go. Pretty nice design, pretty simple to build, works perfectly first time around. And it sends traffic to our school community, which is great, right? And we literally just built that in one prompt, even created a nice little logo in the top left there, using Claude Code and Visual Studio Code. So works really smoothly, super nice, makes it easy. Honestly, I think I still prefer anti-gravity, but if you want an alternative to anti-gravity and you love Claude Code, this might be one of the best options. If you compare this side by side versus the old version of our website, you can see that Claude Code's design is superior by a long way, right? So this is the new version that I'm scrolling through right now that we just built today. And then this is the old version, right? And the old version now already it looks dated in comparison. So, I would genuinely say that Claude Code is a really powerful tool. It's probably the best one out there, and you can use it directly inside Visual Studio Code without the terminal now. So awesome addition, super useful. If you want to get all the video notes from today that show you exactly how to set this up, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab. You can also, for example, see my framework for coding with this. Plus, you can get a 30-day blueprint to automated coding with prompts for every single day if you want to master this tool. Now, some people are going to say, okay, AI code is buggy and unreliable. Some people would limit themselves to say like AI generated code is full of bugs, it'll break constantly. I'll spend more time fixing it than if I just did it myself. Really, the new empowering belief here is like Claude Code with test-driven development catches bugs before they happen, right? So the code is often cleaner than what like a junior developer would write. And you can fix issues in seconds, not hours, right? Other people say, well, this only works for simple stuff, right? Some people say, yeah, sure, AI can build a to-do list, but can it do anything that's actually useful that needs a real developer? And I would say with the right prompts and context, Claude Code builds production-ready tools that handle complex business logic, data processing, and user management. To give you an example of this, right? The actual new update that came out last week from Claude Cowork, which is like a full desktop app, and millions of people are using it. That was built by Claude Code in a week, right? So the power of these AI tools is basically limitless if you understand how to use them and if you have the right ideas. So thanks so much for watching. Get all of these notes inside the AI Success Lab. It also comes with all my best free trainings, like you can see. And also, if you join, you'll get 100 prompts on how to use Claude Code to build whatever you want. Also, if you haven't checked out already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. This is an amazing community with serious AI builders. We've got 2,100 members inside there. And essentially inside the AI Profit Boardroom, you can ask questions, you can get help, you get support, you can win, learn, and grow together with the community. And this is an amazing community where we share, we help each other, we comment together. And, if you want to learn and grow and really build something amazing, this is the best place to learn, right? And you see, it's not just me that's winning with AI. So, for example, Chris built his first custom GPT. You have, for example, Stephen, who's crushing it with Minimax. Steve Light found like 10 beta testers for his product. So there's some amazing stuff there. You also get 4 weekly coaching calls where you can jump on a call live. And inside the classroom here, you can also watch all my best trainings. So if you struggle with like information overwhelm and overload, you can go from complete beginner to expert with AI using this. And you can learn how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Top of that, you get all my best trainings and tutorials for avatar videos, for shorts, newsletters, Twitter, etc. Inside the classroom too, you'll learn how to get more clients for your agency. You can watch back the Q&A call recordings if you can't make the live coaching calls. And also we have amazing tutorials on how to rank #1 inside AI, plus how to build out your YouTube channel in just 6 weeks. So all of it's inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Feel free to get that link in the comments description or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. So what questions we got here? Everything's too crazy. It's insaneception. Hilarious. What else we got? My next project, jump into Claude Code. Thanks once again for all the education. Makes it easy to understand what AI is really for. Thank you so much. Always happy to help. Chloe says, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And Remy says, yo, Julian, are you on a treadmill today? Or is it digital avatar your way to keep fit? Yeah, I'm on a treadmill today. I'm doing the walking treadmill. Just it's good for energy, keeps me focused. And also, like, if I have to go outside for a walk, it's time consuming, sort of stops me from working. Whereas this way I can get work in, do a good live stream, have good energy, and also stay fit at the same time. So it's got all the benefits. And then Abdo says, can I use skills in Google Anti-Gravity? You can indeed. So what you want to do, if you want to use skills inside Anti-Gravity, right? What you want to do here is you go to Anti-Gravity like so, and then you're just going to open up an example folder like you can see right here. And what you want to do inside the terminal here is run the skills GitHub. So whatever skills you want to import, you can place them down here or inside the chat of Google Anti-Gravity. You can also say like, build me a skill, right? So for example, if you often do SEO or create SEO content inside Anti-Gravity, well, you could say inside the chat here, save this as a skill for SEO, right? So you can see all the skills I've got imported on the left-hand side. And you might be wondering, okay, like where do you get those skills from? So I've actually got inside the AI Success Lab, like you can see, if you go to January here, part 2, scroll down, go to this section, you can pull in the skills like so, right? So if you want to pull in these skills, you're just going to open up a new terminal inside Anti-Gravity like this, new terminal, paste that in. That will import the skills from the directory, and you can see these skills imported on the left-hand side. So that's how easy it is. And then if you want to start using them, you just call them in the chat on Anti-Gravity over here, right? So you put like at, and then whatever you want to call up. So let's say, for example, at or / agent manager, that sort of thing. Or you can just say, okay, use the agent evaluation skill. And it will actually locate the skills like you can see right here within the project. So it's analyzing the skill MD files and then pulling in that skill, right? And you can see it's used that skill right there. So that's how you can call them up. And you just say inside the chat whatever skill you want to use. And we've got a huge win here. So you can see that one of our members from the AI Profit Boardroom is actually getting their app approved by the Apple Store, thanks to the AI Profit Boardroom. So good on you for taking action. That's down to you, your hard work. I really respect that. So that's awesome. Good to hear a win right there. All right, so today we're going to be looking at the new feature from Manus AI, which was recently acquired by Meta. And essentially, you can now do app sharing and testing, right? So, what you can do is you can see right here is that you can upload to Google Play and the App Store and run new apps on your iOS device, right? So if you create an app inside Manus AI, according to this, you can actually use app sharing and building to deploy these, right? Now I'm going to be testing out, seeing how it performs, etc. So what we're going to do from here is we are going to try and build an app, like you can see. And if we go inside the chat, we can say, okay, develop apps. So we'll select that. And then we can just build a random app. So what I'm going to do is take an idea from the video notes from today. So I'm going to take this example, a mobile app for the AI profit boarding community, where basically members could access daily AI automation challenges, push notifications for new workflows, quick access to the NA10 Vault and community feed on mobile, right? So you can, for example, just do that. So what we're going to do over here is we are going to grab this idea like this. I'm going to say, okay, create this. And then we'll just take some information about the AI profit boarding, which we can grab from the website. So you can see exactly how to give context to Manus as well in terms of what you want to and what you want to build. We'll hit enter like so, and then we'll see what we get back in a sec. All right, so it's beginning to build out the app. And you can see here it's reviewing the requirements and initializing the mobile app project. And then you can see on the right-hand side, we're beginning to build out the mobile app, which is pretty cool. Just pops up automatically. Just going to make sure you select that build app option. Now it's beginning to build it out. So we've got the design philosophy, the brand identity, blah, 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 the color choices. Robert says, is Manus better than Lovable for building apps? Honestly, I stopped using Lovable just because it used to break all the time on me. And I don't know anyone who's really created something special with Lovable so far. So for me personally, the reason that I don't show it on my videos is because it just doesn't interest me in the same way. It's not helping me create the same projects. You know, for example, if you look at a lot of my recent videos, typically what we'll show is just the actionable stuff that actually works. I tend to find like Manus creates a lot of cool stuff, like even this website itself, we built this with Manus and then we deployed it to a subdomain, right? And it was pretty simple and easy. Whereas with Lovable, I've never really built something that's actually, you know, helped us or we use day to day anymore. And so like that's how I judge an app, is like how powerful is it and how useful can it be? So it's now generating an image for the app using Nano Banana Pro as well, which is pretty cool. And it's doing this automatically, right? It's doing this all in the background whilst I'm talking to you. One of the other cool things I like about Manus, you know, just whilst we're waiting for this to load, is that it can, for example, schedule different tasks day to day. So, for example, here, what this actually does is it searches and researches the latest news in my industry, and then it saves that to Google Drive, like you can see, and it does it every single morning, right? So if you're wondering, okay, like how do I stay updated? You can see, for example, it's actually pulled in the latest news and the top AI stories from the last 5 hours or the last 24 hours, and then plug that into a Google Drive document called AI News Brief, like you can see right here. And it does it automatically, just in the background. So every day I'm like automatically caught up on the latest AI news and then never fall behind, right? And so Manus isn't just for building apps, but this is one new useful example that we're going to show today. So it's now creating the app logo and the branding for the tool. Now, bear in mind as well, you know, you might be asking, like, does this feature publish my app directly to the App Store or Google Play? And here's what you need to know. So this doesn't, what this actually does is prepares and uploads your app for testing in a controlled environment, right? So then you would separately publish this through your own developer accounts. And you might say, okay, well, do I need a developer account to use this feature? Well, for sharing on iOS app or an app developer account, that's required, right? But it's pretty easy and simple to set up. So we're now beginning to build this up. And what I've actually done, if you want to really master this process, I've created a 30-day mobile app launch plan using the training from Manus. So if you want to create your own app and launch it within 30 days, I've created a free roadmap that guides you through exactly step by step what you have to do to make sure that you can get your app built. As you can see, it's mapped out, for example, day one, day two, day three, etc. And this is a 30-day plan to really help you build something and create something. So if you want to get that, link in the comments description to the AI Success Lab, which comes with the video notes today and connects you with a community of 47,400 people, like you can see right here. Now it's 4 stages into the seventh stage. So you can see the task progress right here. You can check that pretty quickly. So it's reviewed the requirements, initialized the app project, created the design plan and to-do list, generated the app logo and branding. Now it's building the core app structure. It's going to implement the daily challenges, build the community feed, and then create the checkpoint later. So it's over halfway through the process. And that was incredibly quick. And this is actually using a virtual environment. So this is using Manus's computer, like you can see over here, if you want to use it. And if you want to take control of that, you actually can. You can just click on use application. Now, some people at this point will say, like, doesn't building a mobile app require a technical team and months of development, right? And I would say no, right? Here's the truth. The hardest part of mobile app development used to be the packaging, the uploading, the distribution process, etc. Right? But not anymore. Think about Roger Bannister, right? For years, everyone believed humans couldn't run a mile in under 4 minutes. It was physically impossible. Then Roger did it in 1954, and within 1 year, dozens of other runners broke the 4 minute barrier too. What changed? It's not human physiology, it's a belief that changed, right? Same thing here. You believe you needed developers, complex tools, technical knowledge, etc. And I think Manus has just proved that belief is wrong. So the 4 minute mile just got broken in mobile app development with this new update. And with tools like Manus, anyone can build and launch mobile apps in days, not months. And the barrier was never your ability, it was the tools available to you. If you ever want to see where it's up to in terms of coding the task, you can click on like the editing file bit here, or handling the text editor issue, or creating the file section, and you'll see where it's up to in terms of coding the actual tool. Back in a sec. So it's still building that out. That's taking quite a while. It's been about 10 minutes so far. What I'll actually do is come back to that in a minute and we can see how that performs. So today we are going to be testing out something called Aeon AI, Aeon UI, which is like a free local open source cowork for Gemini CLI, Claude Code, Codex, Open Code, Quen Code, etc. Right? So if you've not checked out already, Claude Cowork just came out last week. It's like an AI tool, an AI agent that runs on your local desktop. You can do all sorts of tools in the background. It can host your browser, can control your browser, control your laptop, create files, organize files, etc. Right? Really powerful tool. Problem is that you have to be on the pro plan to actually use it, and you have to be on Claude Code to use it, right? But most people, or a lot of people, may not be using that. So how do you get access to it for free? Well, there's actually a free open source version of Cowork called AionUI that we're going to test out today and see how it performs. So you can see here it says Cowork with your CLI AI agent. It's a multi-agent, visual, local, and open source. You can see examples of what it can do. So it can create and edit, it can preview stuff, it can work from anywhere, organize files, handle multiple AI tasks, and also has a multiple AI agent mode, right? So here's an example of it working. And it works directly with Gemini CLI, which is pretty cool. You can also work with Quen Code, Claude Code, etc. It can organize files for you. It can quickly create and preview stuff, like you can see. It can edit images, can multitask at the same time, so it can work on multiple tasks at the same time. And it's also got this option called Web UI mode, right? Which means that remotely you can actually control your AI tools. So any device on your network can use Claude Cowork, which is pretty cool. So you could operate it with your mobile, if that makes sense. So we're going to test this out today, see how it performs. Let's get this set up. So we've got Claude code running. We'll paste in the details of the GitHub and say, use this. And you can see it's beginning to install this now. Finesse says, first time catching your lives. Good to see you here. Feel free to ask any questions as we go along. We're just going to test out AionUI. We can also use this with Kimmy as well, which I've never really tried before. That could be interesting too. So excited to test this out. See where Claude Code's up to. It's beginning to install Homebrew. Now, if we come back to Manus, took about, I would say, 15 minutes to build the app, but we have that fully developed like so. So you can see the task itself is complete on the left-hand side, and then we've got the app built on the right-hand side. So this is the preview. We can grab the code, we can add a database, we can also add file storage to it, and we can also change the settings, right? So for example, you could add like application secret keys, or you could publish to GitHub, etc. And then also you've got this option to publish right here. So what this means is that you can actually build and package the files, like you can see, to create the app. So we could build it on Android, we could publish it to Google Play, like you see, it says build for publish, or the same for iOS. So we could, using our app developer account, just click this button, and that would actually package the app so that we can publish it on iOS as well. So you can see how easy it is. Number one, to create the app itself, which is awesome. But to actually distribute it, right, to distribute it to Google Play or to iOS, you can do that directly inside the chat here. And you just make sure that you package up the files and then submit them using your developer accounts. If we have a look at the app itself, let's have a look. So it's got like recent activity, quick actions, daily streak, etc. The one thing I'd be careful of is like test it out, make sure it actually works, make sure you're happy with it and the end result. So make sure all the data works and that it's actually got a database attached to it so you can save data for the users who log in. But overall, really easy to build an app, easy to just give it one prompt like we did, and then it goes off for 15 minutes, codes the app, previews it, and allows you to zip up all the files so that you can publish them using your developer account. So pretty cool right there. If you want to get the video notes from today, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab, link in the comments description. This connects you with 47,400 people, like you can see inside the classroom here. If you go to the 21st of January, you've got all the details from today. So you've got the full video notes, the old way, the new way, the full framework that I've given you, plus a 30-day roadmap for learning how to use this. I also talked about all the stuff that might be getting in your head, you know, that you're worried about when it comes to limited beliefs. And I've handled that so that you can empower yourself to actually really get this working. And also what I've included is 100 prompts that you can use to build pretty much anything you want. So for example, if you want to plan your ideas or generate ideas for whatever industry you're in, if you want to, for example, add little features to your apps like user onboarding, all of this is inside the video notes from today. Feel free to get that link in the comments description. And if you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom community. This is a community for serious AI builders and entrepreneurs who want to scale, save time, and grow their business with AI. So we've got 2,100 members inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or go to aiprofitboardroom.com. And you can see that we actually have a daily accountability group so that we can make sure we get things done and we actually create and build and deploy and implement rather than just playing around with stuff. You can also see inside the community here, you can ask questions, get help, get support whenever you need it. So for example, CJ asked this question, already 4 people have got back to him, like you can see. We're just here to help each other learn, to grow, to win with AI. That's what it's all about, right? Also, you can see that you can jump on live coaching calls. If you ever get stuck or you need live support and help with something, you can jump on the coaching course here. Inside the classroom as well, we have all of these different playbooks. So for example, if you want to go from beginner to expert with AI automation, you can jump on this course right here and you'll learn how to go from beginner to expert in just 5 weeks, plus how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes. Additionally, you'll learn, for example, how I create AI avatar videos and automate social media, how I automate shorts, Instagram, newsletters, Twitter automations, how I automate my emails, etc. And inside the classroom too, you'll learn how to get more clients with the agency course. You'll get our best SOP recordings and coaching calls, etc. And then additionally, you'll learn how to rank #1 with AI SEO, plus how to grow and scale a YouTube channel based on what's working for me. So feel free to get that. It's all inside the AI Profit Boardroom. Link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. So now you can see the app is downloaded. We're going to test it out, see how it performs. Open it up. And as you can see, we can switch between all these different CLIs, right? So for example, if you want to operate this with open code, you could. Or for example, Cowork, Claude Cowork. You could use this with Claude Code directly or Gemini CLI. Now, the cool thing about this is, #1, AionUI is free, right? Free and open source. Gemini CLI, as long as you stick within the token limits, is free. Open code, free, right? So this is a free alternative with no API costs to Claude Cowork, which is normally paid, right? And so that's the obvious win with this. And also it integrates with multiple different APIs. So instead of you just having to be reliant on Claude Code and Claude Cowork, if you prefer to use a different API, so for example, Kimi or OpenCode or Quen or Gemini, well, you can use those instead using Aion AI. So let's test this out and see how it performs. We're going to have a look at my desktop, see how messy it is, and we'll go from there. All right, so you can see this is the desktop with all the files. We've got Claude Code in the background, which actually launched Aion AI. And then from here, we're going to say, okay, organize my desktop. And I'm just going to make sure I have OpenCode open and see if we can get this working with OpenCode. All right. And so from here, we'll go back to Aion and we'll say, okay, organize my desktop. Now it's going to ask if it can access the desktop folder. We're going to say allow. Now you can see it's beginning to create this screenshots folder, right? So set that up right here. And it's literally just created that. And now it's adding the screenshots from the desktop into that screenshots folder, right? So that our desktop went from really messy to clean. And again, we've automated this because we used open code and then we've used AionUI to operate open code, right? And so you've got this beautiful UI that can interact locally, and then you've got open code that can run free APIs with AI agents locally as well. And so you get the best of all worlds, but you get it all for free too. And you see how easy it was to set up. This is my first time using it, and doesn't require any sort of technical expertise from what I can see. Finesse James says, have you tried Notebook LM GitHub? I have. I've actually got a bunch of videos about that on YouTube. Plus, Lots of notes about that inside the AI Success Lab, which is a free community. If you want to learn more, Biohacky says, is this pre-recorded? No, this is not pre-recorded. I'm actually live right now. Finesse Jones says, my open code with Cowork is not working. So just to be clear here, we're not using Claude Cowork with open code. We're using AionUI with open code. And that's the secret, right? That's how you can use this. So you just go to a new chat like so, go to open code like this, and then you can build out whatever you want. So for example, here, if we say, okay, build out a Tetris game using open code, it's going to start using the agents MD file to start building that out, right? And then we just have to wait for it to finish coding. Now you might also like ask, okay, how does this compare to using something like Claude Cowork normally, right? So if we go inside Claude Cowork, you can see an example right here. This is what the UI looks like. And this is what the UI of AionUI looks like. And honestly, they're not that different. I will say that I do think Claude Cowork is still a better UI, still looks nicer, etc. But for a free open source alternative, I think that AionUI is, more than does the job, right? And then if we go inside the chat here, we'll say the same thing. So build out a Tetris game, and we can compare, okay, which one creates the best outputs, right? Now, they're going to do similar things in terms of like planning the tool, planning the updates, etc. As you can see. But it'll be interesting to see which one codes out the fastest and which one codes out the best. I would still assume it's going to be Claude Code, but we'll see what we get back. In the meantime, we can check out the settings here. So you can add a proxy if you want to. You can also add a Google Cloud project if you want to as well. And you've also got this YOLO auto allow method, right? So what this means basically is like, if you allow that to just go off and do stuff, then you don't need to click approve on anything, right? It's going to go into YOLO mode, which is basically like auto approve every command that it does. Don't recommend that for everyone, but if you want to try it, you can. You can also add models. So you can configure your models here. You can add, like, for example, Gemini, OpenAI, Anthropic, DeepSeek, OpenRouter. OpenRouter has a bunch of free APIs you can use right there. You got Kimi. You have XAI as well, so Grok. And then you've also got Poe and all sorts of other models. So it's really interesting what they've got on there as well. It does have this custom option as well. So I think you could probably use Olama for that, but I've not tested it out. So that would be interesting too. What else we've got here? We've got assistants. So you've got Cowork, for example. You've got Human 3.0 Coach, Planning with Files, UI Pro Max. I actually used that the other day. That's like a set of skills that you can install for improving UI. You've got PDF to PowerPoint, 3D games, etc. So you can, for example, like click on that and then allow this inside here, which is pretty cool. You've got a bunch of tools, so you can add like MCPs manually inside the settings here. You can change the CSS settings. So if you want a different theme on this, you can. And you just get a lot more customization as well overall, compared to something like Claude Cowork, which is one standardized approach to everything. And then if you want to check out any of the files that you built, you can just right click this. So for example, we can right click the HTML file that's built, click on show in folder, and then you can see the HTML file right there. right? You can also have multiple chats running at the same time. So we could open up a new chat here and then give it a new command or a new task. And you could use this for building websites, creating tasks, creating folders, organizing stuff, building stuff out locally, etc. Right? Now you might be wondering, okay, why is this different? Well, I'm going to call this a command center framework. This is a custom framework that I've used for, managing AI agents. And, most people, even today, it's unbelievable, but most people are still copying and pasting between ChatGPT and their code editor like it's 2022. Meanwhile, smart operators are running like 5 agents simultaneously through one interface, generating code they can preview instantly and organizing entire projects with AI powered file management. So here's the framework that I use to orchestrate multiple AI agents like a conductor leading an orchestra. And I call it the command center framework because that's exactly what Aon UI becomes. It becomes your central hub for controlling every AI tool you need, right? So the old way would be like running Claude code in terminal, Gemini CLI, cursor in another window, conversations disappearing. You can't find the generated files. You got one task at a time per agent. And you're constantly switching between windows and tools, right? Now what you can do is you can have all agents in one clean interface. Every conversation is saved automatically. You got a visual preview for all your files. You can run multiple tasks at the same time. You've got this clean folder and file organization. And everything stays local, right? Which is pretty cool. So if you want to see how to master this, what I've actually done is put together a 30-day plan on exactly how you can create the command center framework with AI agents. But if we go back to Aon UI now, you can see it's beginning to code out the website, like you can see right here. That's basically how you can use this, all right? You can also integrate this with other AIs. You've got, for example, all these different tools that you can connect right here. You've got the 3D game option as well. And you can select between the models you want. So you could use Gemini 3 or 2.5 or Pro Preview, etc. Really simple and easy to use this. So thanks so much for watching. If you want to get access to all the video notes from today, you can get that inside the AI Success Lab. This is an amazing community that connects you with 47,400 people. Like you can see, you can post inside the community. You see all these people posting right here. Plus, we add new daily trainings to it. On top of that, if you go to the classroom and then 21st of January, you can find all the video notes and the resources from today. And you can see exactly how to use this. You can get the full framework that I created, plus the 30-day plan. And what I've actually done is listed out 100 prompts that you can use to try this stuff, right? So for example, if you want to learn how to create content or generate code or manage your files, or even, for example, generate images and research using AionUI, well, then you can get this inside the AI Success Lab, all completely free. And if you haven't already, check out the AI Profit Boardroom. This is an amazing community that connects you with 2,100 serious entrepreneurs who are focused on growing their business. By the way, you can see the update and the file from AionUI right now. So this is the game that it created. As you can see, it's completed inside the chat here. And then we can test out inside here automatically. So it actually works. It actually does build useful stuff. And if you close that, you can see the AI Profit Boardroom. If you want to get access, link in the comments description, or just go to aiprofitboardroom.com. Inside the community, you'll see that there's a daily accountability group to help you avoid overwhelm, to help you stay focused, to help you create stuff and actually build stuff. You can also post questions inside here if you ever get stuck, and I personally answer. You can also direct message me if you have any questions as well. And then if you ever get stuck and you want to jump on a live call, you can do that inside the coaching section. So for example, if you go inside the calendar here, you can see that we do 4 weekly coaching calls per week, where you can jump on the calls, ask any questions, get any help and support if you want. You can also watch back the recordings of those calls if you can't make them live. And additionally, we have this full 6-week roadmap that takes you from beginner to expert and teaches you how to build your first AI agent in under 5 minutes with AI automation. So if you want to save time, generate more leads, get more customers for your business, and use AI automation to leverage and scale, or you can get this training inside the AI profit boardroom. And additionally here, you can see that we show you exactly how I automate AI avatar videos, how I automate shorts videos, how I automate Instagram, newsletters, X as well, automated emails, etc. It's all inside the AI profit boardroom. Additionally, you'll learn how to get more clients using the agency course, and you'll learn how to rank #1 using AI SEO, plus how to grow your YouTube channel based on what's working for me. So this is all inside the AI profit boardroom. Feel free to get it. Link in the comments description. Appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.